Hey guys, what's up? So I'm here drinking my Vietnamese coffee, and I thought it would be a good time to talk a little bit about a lot of the misconceptions that I hear on a weekly basis about Vietnam. So a lot of people, when they find out that I traveled to Vietnam for months at a time for several years, they always ask the same thing, or they say the same thing. And this is typically coming from Americans, but I thought it would be a good time to just talk about some of those things. So good. So number one, Vietnam is communist. So yeah, this is kind of technically true. I mean, if you look at the name of the country, it's the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. But when you're actually there, when you're on the streets, when you're going from city to city and meeting with the people, it doesn't feel like it. Maybe the government is communist or socialist or whatever, but when you look at the streets and you see how many street vendors there are, how many small business owners there are, you really kind of start to think, wow, like capitalism is flourishing here. It is booming in Vietnam. Everybody is a business owner. In fact, everybody's a multiple business owner. Everybody's house is a shop. If you go down the street, it's like people living behind the shop. They might be selling clothes, they might be selling music, they might be selling food, restaurants, whatever you can imagine, coffee shops, anything at all, like internet cafes, all these different things. Everybody owns a business, and it's amazing. It's like, I'm a lover of capitalism, obviously. I'm a small business owner. So I love to see in other countries this amazing, entrepreneurship from different people. That's how they succeed. That's what they do. I love that, and I honestly wish it was more like that here. So number two, they hate Americans. So a lot of this comes from the older crowd, and it's more worries of what it's like after the devastation of the Vietnam War. And they just kind of tend to assume that all Vietnamese think alike, and they all hate the invasion from America into Vietnam. That's not really the case at all. And depending on what you know about the Vietnam War, not everybody thought the same, North and South and all those different things anyway. So you get a big kind of difference between those two parts of the country. But even though that's the case, everyone just seems to love Americans or love visitors in general. I never once felt hate from anyone. I never even felt uncaring from anyone. There was never anyone that said anything negative to me, unlike other countries that I've been to. Everyone was just always happy, always friendly, always willing to help. Maybe they couldn't even speak English, but they wanted to communicate with you. They wanted to talk to you. They wanted to help you if you needed help. They wanted to have dinner with you. They wanted to have beer with you. They just seem to love Americans or foreigners in general. That's just who they are. That's the type of people they are. They're awesome, friendly people. There doesn't seem to be any animosity left over from the war, and it's honestly not even something that I ever even heard brought up the entire time I was there. Number three, Vietnam is just not safe. So I hear this one a lot, and I think this is just a huge misconception or just a misunderstanding from people that have never been there before. And I think the biggest concern is one, it's not safe from the government, and two, it's not safe from criminals or gangsters or whatever that might be. So I personally never ever felt any kind of fear in this country. I always felt much safer in Vietnam than I ever even felt in America. And yes, we have police everywhere. We've got a lot of things that are supposed to keep us safe here. But the thing that makes me feel safe in Vietnam is there are just always so many people. Even if you go walking around the city at 1 or 2 a.m., there's still a ton of people out partying on the streets or getting ready for work or, driving somewhere or walking somewhere. There's just always something. There's restaurants open, there's karaoke going. You always feel like there's people around in case something does happen. If you get mugged or something like that, which that never happened to me, but I'm not saying that would never happen. I just think it's a lot less likely than here. Another thing is that nobody in Vietnam owns a gun. I think it's pretty much outlawed. So the chances of you getting mugged and shot and killed are very slim. I don't know about you, but I'm much more scared of getting shot than, someone chasing after me with a knife. But of course that really depends on who you are. But long story short, I 100% feel much, much safer in Vietnam than I've ever felt here. I would never walk around in the middle of the night on the street in America. Number 4, Vietnam is just so poor. This is kinda true, kinda not true. So if you're looking at a global scale, yes, of course, Vietnamese make much less than the average American or Canadian or European. But if you're looking at what they're able to buy and what they're able to do with the money they do make, it really evens out. It's really not any different than living in America, honestly. And the reason I say that is because their cost of living is ridiculously low. Everything feels like it's so cheap. Everything except foreign products like electronics and things like that. But things like food or shelter or transportation or pretty much anything else, everything is just so much cheaper. I mean, you can eat for literally like anywhere from 50 cents for a meal to, $1.50 for a meal. And I mean, this is delicious food. You can literally pick up a banh mi sandwich for 50 to 75 cents. You can get a bowl of pho for like $1, maybe higher end place $1.50, something like that. This is insane. This is stuff you just don't see here. I mean, yeah, you can go to McDonald's and order off the dollar menu. By the time you're done, you're spending $5 to get enough food to feed you. You still can't do this here in America. And the quality of the food is so much better there. There's also the cost of travel. We're able to rent hotels or Airbnbs in the heart of Saigon for like $20 a night. Maybe even cheaper than that. I think it was like $19 a night. Or Da Nang, like $19 a night. I mean, these are huge travel cities, and that is insane. It's incredible that we're able to do that. I feel like I could move there and just save a ton of money. Just owning my own home in America, and I bought a house during the recession, I'm still paying on average about $45 a day when you talk about mortgage and utilities and all the other things like taxes and things like that. I mean, you literally could go there and rent a hotel, have someone clean your room every day for like 20 bucks a day. It's ridiculous, especially when you compare it to what you're paying here. I mean, can you get a hotel for less than $100 a night here in America? Yeah, you're gonna be spending a lot more than that. I also was able to pick up a week's worth of clothes for probably around $25, $30. I could get t-shirts for like $1 or $2, and we're not talking about cheap crap. We're talking about stuff that's made well, and some of my favorite clothes that I ever worn. I got pairs of shorts, again, some of the favorite shorts that I've ever had in my life, $5 each. All I'm trying to say is you just have to see it to believe it. It's hard to understand until you're in the country and talking to the people and experiencing what they experience. You just gotta go there. And number 5, this is something that I hear all the time, and I think this is just because in America there's so many pho places. Everyone thinks that Vietnamese only eat pho and banh mi, and that's not even true in America, but it is something that is a misconception. So when you go to Vietnam, when you actually spend time there, you'll notice right away that this is absolutely not true. There are thousands of other types of foods, and it's honestly kind of hard to specifically find a pho place. You go here in America, every Vietnamese place is called pho this and pho that. It's not the case in Vietnam. Hardly anybody sells pho. Yes, you can get pho. You can go down the street, maybe every couple street corners, but it's not like you would think. There are literally thousands of different foods that I've never heard of or seen in America, and they're so good, so delicious. I honestly kind of feel like real Vietnamese don't even eat pho that much. I can't say the same for banh mi. There are a ton of little banh mi carts everywhere. They're selling banh mi like on every street corner. And I think it's because in bigger cities, they're constantly moving. You can just grab a sandwich and go. It's super easy. But yeah, there are a lot of banh mi places, but that's certainly not all they eat. So that's it, guys. I'm sure there are a lot more misconceptions that I'm not talking about, but these are the ones that I hear all the time that I thought I would share. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you later, and peace out.